Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. Did you know that this is week 47 of 2025? This year, I can't even say that it flew by because I got a lot done. When I look back, I realized that time appears to move fast if we're not doing anything. And I was doing a whole lot this year. Anyway, welcome back to Antonia's Blissful Corner. I'm Antonia, and this is your quiet space for reflection, growth, and peace. If you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to my channel. And if you are returning, I hope that you've already subscribed. And before we begin, I'm going to ask that you kindly get a copy of my book, Unlocking the Introvert, a pocket guide to understanding and interacting with introverts. It is available at societyofintroverts.com, Amazon, and everywhere books are sold online. So I'm kind of counting, but not really. But I guess I can. This is day 41 of 50. Can you imagine? At first, I was gonna do only 25, and here we are, rocking it out at day number 41. Anyway, um, on my way home, there was a question that I asked last week, and when I first asked it, it was in jest. But then when I thought about it more, I realized how real the situation is for a lot of people. I asked, oh, well, I guess I should start from last week. So last week I was preparing to, today's actually going to be a real conversation. This one is more personal, right? So I'm realizing that there's some things that I should be sharing because there's some women out there that will be experiencing or have experienced some of the same things that I do. And the same way that I look to YouTube for answers or I don't know, guidance or whatever, I know that there are people out there that can, like benefit from everyone's stories. Anyway, last week as I was preparing for my annual doctor visits, I was in the office and I was having a conversation with one of my sister friends. So I was letting her know. And I think the reason why it came up in my brain is because I knew that when I went to either one of them, because I went to the general practitioner and the gynecologist. And I knew that one of them, if not both, would have asked me, "Hey, did you follow up with that biopsy?" So I was telling my sister friend in the office about the fact that I went. They told me to go for a mammogram. They gave me the prescription since last year. And I do this thing all the time where I don't go. There was one time when I didn't go for like 2 years, right? And I felt bad because when I went, they were like, "Oh, did you go?" And I mean, like they can't force you to go, but they're doing the right thing by encouraging you to go. And I had that daggone piece of paper hung up in my office right here. And I did nothing with it that year, right? So when I went back to visit, they gave me another one. I was like, "Okay, I'll go this time." And I did. Fast forward to this year, they gave me one last year. And I think it was in the summertime. I said, let me just go and get it out of the way. Because you can't really, play Russian roulette with your life. Anyway, I went, I had the mammogram done. And what I loved about it was that this location is actually in walking distance from my home. All the other time, all my doctors are in Manhattan, as well as the facilities that I've been to have these exams done. So when I went, the lady that attended to me, that basically did the examination, no, not the examination, the mammogram, the screening, she asked me if it's possible for me to get my, records so that they'll have it there because if something comes up, then at least the doctors will know what to rule out. I couldn't remember which place because it was either NYU, it was either Lenox Hill, and I ruled them out because that's where I was and they didn't see it in the system. And I think it was a third option. I can't remember. But anyway, I said no, and that was that. Took the screening. A couple of days later, they asked me to come back for a mammogram and sonogram, and this is where it got really annoying to me. So I went back for the mammogram, sonogram. Actually, no. Let me go back to last week. So last week in the office, I said to my sister friend, as we were exchanging conversation stories about the exams, and she's like, every time I go, mine is always on my left, and I was like, me too, it's always the left one. And we went down the whole talking about how annoying it can be, whatever have you. And then I said, hold up a second. I said, I mean, I feel like I would rather have a home and be unhealthy than be healthy and living on the street, because that's how it is right now. Like, it's sad that there are people who really and truly have to have these hard conversations with themselves or with family about what is more important, right? In the moment, I was basically saying it in jest, but the thought stayed with me for the whole week, right? We both laughed it off, and because it sounded dramatic in the moment, but it's one of those things that you really have to just sit and consider. Wait a second, what if, right? And it, because it was a wild question, you sit down and you have to contemplate the real choices people make every single day. Do I eat or do I pay a bill? Do I pay the bill or do I get my medication? Do I skip the doctor or let the water shut off? It's so sad that this is the life and the world that we're living in right now. Thank God that is not my narrative, but you never know. You never know, right? So for many people, that's not a hypothetical, it's their reality, right? And because of that question, it wouldn't leave me alone. And for the sake of it, literally, as I was walking up the street this evening when I was coming from work, I took out my phone and I said, hey, Chat GPT. And I asked a question, right? And I couldn't wait because it was dark. So I couldn't wait to get inside to see what it said. Again, I asked in jest, but because I know that it's a real struggle for some people, like this is a real topic, I just wanted to see what ChatGPT would respond. And ChatGPT says something like, well, if you're well, you have options, and when you're unwell, you don't. Your health is the foundation. So basically, if I am well and live on the street, then at least I have options to go and basically find another home. But if I'm unwell and in the house, well, I ain't gonna have that in my house much longer because I might die. I mean, it sounds fun, like I'm saying it in like jokingly, but it's the reality of how life is, right? So it hit me because the next thing that happened, I came inside. Well, I picked up the mail and I came inside and I see this letter from Lenox Hill. You see it there? It was a certified mail. I am not kidding you. And this is them basically saying, hey girl, hey, we've been calling you for the past like 2 months. What's up? Oh God. Anyway, um, I so and I will say, so after, oh, I think I skipped out some place. This is the introvert brain. So after I went and I had the mammogram done first, and then they called me back for a mammogram and a sonogram. I don't remember if they had said it on the left side, but I'm gonna pretend as if they said it's gonna be on the left side. And I kind of like, because it's always on the left side. It's always on the left side. And I wish I had taken the time to go and get the records from the other place so that we would have bypassed all of the other nonsense that came after. So I went, right? Mommy walked, again, it's in walking distance. So mommy walked with me that day. And I went up to when I entered the facility and I went to go check in, the lady said, excuse me, did anyone let you know that you had to pay some money today? You had a bill or something like that, she said. And I was like, no, how much? And she told me, and I was like, and I reluctantly took out my credit card and gave it to her, right? Because I was a little annoyed because I feel as if like I'm being tricked. Like, you can't say, did anybody tell you? Who gonna tell me? Who gonna tell me? I mean, just I feel like just come, because I hate when they do that. They do that every doctor you go to, whether it's a dentist, anyone at a doctor. Them you walk in, them tell you say I bill for pay. No, who was supposed to tell me? The boogeyman, Santa Claus, who? Anyway, I paid, sat, they did what they had to do, and I was in there for way longer because I think I had it at lunchtime. So I was thinking this is gonna be like in and out like the last time, but it wasn't. I was there waiting and they kept calling me back in, so they would take tests and they would send it off to some doctor who's not on site, and then I would have to wait, and they would come back. They would call me back in. Oh, he want me to take it up here under your. Oh. And I was just there waiting. I was so annoyed. At one point, a lady came, I think it was a lady that checked me in, and she was like, they didn't see you yet. You're still sitting here. Like, what am I going to do? Because after I met with one person, then they sent me, and they got the clearance. Then I went in with another lady, and she did the sonogram. And again, I waited. People came, they had their tests done, and they left. And I was getting annoyed. But I mean, we just sit there because we quiet. We get abused all the time because we don't open our mouths. So I just sat there. Somebody was be like, hey, can I leave? But no, I just sat there like just waiting patiently. Just waiting. And I felt bad because mommy's out front waiting. Anyway, got the tests, and they said, okay, well, the doctor will continue to review, and the results will be shared with your primary care doctor, and they will call you. Okay, fine, thank you. Went home. A couple of days later, they're calling me, telling me, oh, something came up and we want you to come and do a biopsy. I said, not the hell, I ain't doing no gosh darn biopsy. No. I mean, the thing is, it's like, I was truly annoyed. So anyway, they kept calling, they left messages, and I wouldn't call them back. And then eventually I called them back. Wait, who called me first? My doctor called me, and I didn't answer because I knew why she was calling. And then I eventually called the Lennox Hill back, and I said, I'm returning a call, but before we proceed with this conversation, the last time I came, y'all told me that I had to pay something. Can you please let me know, will I have to pay something this time, and what will it be? And she said yes. And that was 3 times what I paid the last time. I said, all right, fine. I said, I'm gonna have to think about this. Now, now, the reality of it is you should not play Russian roulette with your health. But the thing is, it's like, I'm thinking, because at this point, I think I was getting ready to go on vacation. I was annoyed. I'm thinking, I don't want to do all of this. I wanted to go on vacation, right? But again, hey, Jeannie. But again, the reality of it is you shouldn't play Russian roulette with your life. But and I said to mommy, because mommy's my bouncing board. Now, that she's the wrong person to ask because mommy don't do doctors. But I figured let me just ask her because she's the adult in the room. Anyway, needless to say, she said she wouldn't go. So it was like, okay. So I didn't call. So they told me, call and give them this code, blah, blah, blah. So then by the time my physician called back again the second time, I said, all right, I guess I'll answer this time. And I did. I think I missed a call, but I called her back. And she said, hey, I'm just checking in to see if you made an appointment yet to do the biopsy, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, not yet. And I told her my concerns. And she said, well, I mean, the code that they gave you is not going to do anything because really and truly, this is just a copay. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So I didn't promise to go, right? Because again, I want to go on vacation. Because it's one of those things where if you're going to get bad news, I'd rather go on vacation, have a grand old time, and then come back and give me the bad news, right? Um, so, but I feel like deep in my back of my brain, I'm like, but I did this already. It's almost as if like you already took the exam and you aced it. Why I want to take the exam again, right? So last week now, because so basically it went on our brain. Those people are calling me just about every other day. Every other day I'm seeing them calling me on my phone. I'm like, nope, not today. I went on vacation and came back. Melissa done made a mess of Jamaica and left, and I still ain't called these people. So last week I had an appointment scheduled for my annual visit. I thought it was for both of my doctors. So I said, well, I guess I'm gonna have to figure this out before I go in because I don't want to go in and say no, I ain't go. But I say, you know what? I'm gonna go in and say I didn't go. Um, so what did I do? Oh, right. So I woke up on Thursday morning because I was up late. I'm up late most nights, especially when I don't have to go to the office the next day. But I was up late on Wednesday night. And when I woke up on Thursday morning, my phone said, hey girl, you have an appointment with your doctor at 8:30. I was like, which 8:30? It was supposed to be on that day in the city. It wasn't gonna happen because it was after 8. I never sleep that late. But I was like, dang it. So then I don't remember, I don't think I called them. They called me. And as soon as I answered, I started to laugh and I said, I'm so sorry. I said, I just realized I had an appointment at 8:30 today. And she was like, yeah. She's like, so you can't make it? I was like, no, can't. So she was like, okay, I'll let the doctor know. So then she's like, would you like to reschedule? I said, yes, please. So she said, okay. So she's like, wait a second. We have you here for 12:30 tomorrow too. And I was like, oh, because I did see the 12:30 on my phone, but I thought I was crazy. So she said, would you like to keep that one? I said, yes, please. Hey, Sterling. So then I said, yes, please. And then she said, okay. So then I started to chuckle to myself. And she was like, why are you laughing? I said, well, and I told her, the whole mix up. I said, When I called and made this 12:30 appointment, it was supposed to be for the other doctor, but I think something got some messed up in the atmosphere because I made the appointment for the same doctors. Anyway, thankfully, they were able to schedule me for both my primary care and my GYN same day, hours apart, and I was grateful. Everything happens the way that it should. That's the way that I'm living my life. Went to the GYN. She felt me up. She, them touch up, and all these things. She asked me no questions about no biopsy, and I ain't give no answers either. Boom. Went to the next doctor. Of course, she asked. And I said, I mean, I really truly believe that I took this biopsy already years ago. I just don't know where. So she was like, let me check the system. Because she said, like they are updating systems and they're transferring things in, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, cool. Nothing beats a failure but a trial. Baby, she tried it. Let me tell you, she was like, "Oh, you're right. You did take it in 2013." I'm like, "I know it's right." So she was like, "Well, the only thing is you would have to go back and have them basically give you a CD so that you can bring it back to the other place so that they can put it in the system." Oh, I don't mind doing that. I just know that I'm saving myself a whole bunch of money. Boom. So then she came, she gave me an examination, and then she left for somebody to come take blood. And by the time she was done, she came back in to basically give me her final words and whatever have you. And she was like, I went further in the system. And she did me a solid. She printed out the paperwork and she said, all you have to do is go show them this. They'll give you the thing. We're done. She said, I looked at what they did back in 2013 and I looked at what he just did just now. And it's the same exact place. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Now, I escaped the bullet. So that's why I'm laughing at this whole thing with the question that I asked plus the certified letter that I'm going to call them and let them know like what's going on. Well, I guess I'll call them tomorrow since they decided to spend money. Because I mean, it is a serious topic. Like it is their responsibility if they see something that is questionable to have the patient come back so that they can do whatever is necessary in order to get the patient well. And these are the things that I was contemplating, right? Because I'm like, I mean, half of it was just laziness on my part too, but I really didn't want to spend all that money. If I had money, I wouldn't mind, but I ain't got it like that. Anyway, I was grateful. Like I left the doctor's office and I called mom and I was excited. Excited that well, I was right, number one. Number two, that she was able to find the information, the exact information, so that I didn't have to go down that route again. Right. So this evening when I was coming home and I asked ChatGPT, the question, even though I was kind of laughing about it, I was serious because I'm like, insurance is about to go up. And I already made the decision that next year I'm going to be uninsured, period. Because the reality of it is, it's expensive. And when I look back to a time when I used to pay insurance and I never used to use it, because because you know how young people do. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What am I going to waste my time going for? That's really and truly what I used to say. The only time I used to go to the doctor was because when I get sick, because I neglect myself sometimes, and I tend to burn the candles at both ends and in the middle. And when my body be like, girl, I mean, it be like, girl, and I shut down, like shut down. And hey, Lisa, hey, Kate, thank you. And when I tell you that my body shut down, it shuts down. So usually, if I have the flu shot, come Marchish, I'll get ill. But now I'm paying attention because I feel like if I wake up in the morning and anything feels a little off, I'm calling in sick. I'm calling in sick and get the rest of my body needs. But I used to basically get it so bad that I would be down for like 3 days, and the fourth day I would drag myself to the doctor to go see what's going on. There was one year when they had a shortage of flu shots, and I didn't get the flu shot. And when I tell you, I really thought I was going to die. No lie. I was running a temperature of 103 for 3 days straight. And when it finally dropped, I went to a local doctor because I wanted to know like what is going on. And they said it was I guess it developed into some kind of infection. So I had to get an antibiotic for it to clear. And I went out on that day only because it was the first day that it was below, like it was basically normal. That night it was 104. Now, let me tell you how my brain works. During the day, right, when I was feeling somewhat not as like I was on my deathbed, I Googled, this is years ago. I Googled at what temperature do you die? Because I really thought I was going to die. And I think it said 105. And I was like, So the day when I went to the doctor and I came home, I had 104 that night. I was like, Lord, I'm gonna die. I really thought I was gonna die. Thank God I didn't because I'm here. I'm here. But that's the only time that I used to go to the doctor was when I was really like sick, right? So um I decided that because, and funny enough, everything is happening today medical wise. Because right before I left the office, I got an email from HR for our open enrollment. This is the first time that they're doing it so late, right? So I'm not sure what's going to happen. But if those numbers look crazy, guess who is not going to be insured next year? Listen, I'm going to be drinking my serious tea, drinking some coconut water, and I'm going to be the healthiest. Because my mommy don't go to the doctor, and I don't want to pick up her bad habit. But a sister's got to do what a sister's got to do because she said I should tell you that she's not sick and she isn't. Mommy is not sick. One year, a couple years ago, she had an emergency and went to the doctor. She had to go have a procedure done, and we went to the doctor. I was on a clock, so I had my computer, and they call her in to kind of do pre surgery questioning and blah blah blah. So they gave her a questionnaire to fill out. She filled out the questionnaire. They had questions: what medicine she's on, medical history, father, mother, this and a third. So when it was time for her to go into the room, the nice nurse asked me, "Would you like? You can come in." And I was like, "Okay." So I went in, and I didn't expect to do anything. I was just there. The nice lady said to my mother, "Mommy was how I don't know. She was 70 something at the time." And the nurse said, Miss Dassey, you didn't complete the paperwork. And she said, what did I miss? She said, you didn't put down the medications you take. And mommy said, I don't take medications. The lady's like, you what? You don't take medications? When I tell you, that lady had me crying because she was so shocked that mommy wasn't taking medication. And I felt very proud of my mama, right? Because mommy, she doesn't eat. I can't, well, we don't eat poorly. We don't eat, bad. Like we don't, but she does enjoy her sweets. There was a point in time when we used to go to the grocery store, and if she see Twix or Kit Kat or Snickers, she want to pick it, and I'd be like, "You can't eat that." Like I'm her mother. But then after a while, I was like, "Listen, that lady done earned the right to eat whatever she wants. So I just give it to her." So when they have stuff at work, I bring her chocolates. But anyway, I digress. That lady was so shocked. It was a nurse, and honestly, she looked older than mommy. A nurse attendant came in and she was like, let's say her name was Cherise. She said, Cherise, can you believe that this lady's now on medication? When I tell you I was crying because I think nowadays there's so many people who get to a certain age and then they do meds. The one thing that I used to always say is like, I never want to get to a point where a doctor tells me that I have to go on medication. And since this is a medical, since we're talking about medicine and stuff, there was a point in time when I had to basically make the decision to live a very healthy life because at one point they saw my thought something was wrong with my thyroid, something was wrong with my what's the other roid? I feel like I had every roid, and I googled like how to not make these things go crazy, right? And it was a matter of watching what I ate, and maintaining my weight and all that stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's easy. So that's pretty much what I did, right? I chose to basically I we never could we mostly cook at home. In this house we do not have soda. We do not have juice. We have water. We have water. By the time mommy moved in here, I had no sugar. I think at that point I would maybe have had agave. It took a while for her to get used to it. Eventually she got used to it, but now she doesn't even use sugar, right? She used cream, like. And what I was watching something one day, we're talking about, I don't remember the name of the creamer that she used to use, but it's a creamer that big in Costco. And I was like, "Mommy," and I told her what if and she kissed her teeth at me so hard. If she could have swallowed me through, because this woman like, you can't tell me what to do. We went to Costco and she put it in the car like, but mommy, and yeah, big old man, I'm a big woman. You can't tell me what to do. We came home and whatever I said, it stuck in her brain because she did not use it. And I went to the grocery store and I found um I think I don't remember. It's I don't remember if it's an oat kind of milk. I don't remember what it was. And I bought it. It was expensive. I bought it and I said, just try this. And she tried it and she liked it. And I was like, oh, thank God. um, the thing is, right? We don't know what we're consuming because even though I cook at home, and I tell people, even though I cook at home, I don't know what I mean, right? I know what I prepared, But who's to say that that chicken that I bought was real chicken? I mean, right? But I'm grateful that, hey, Elisa, I'm grateful that for the most part that we are healthy, right? But anyway, going back to these blasted bills. So my thing is, I pay so much money for insurance, and at the end of the day, it's not used. So I force myself to go every year for these annual checkups. But the thing is, it's like, how much does an annual checkup cost? Like, if I don't pay insurance, can I just go to the urgent care and pay? I'm not kidding you. I'm gonna tell you next week after I do my open enrollment. If that thing goes up high, but not get no insurance, but not getting no insurance. But we're paying for what I need it because it's insane. I guess so. I guess okay. So Kay said cutting out soda will add at least 10 years to your life. That's my unprofessional opinion. That's the thing. Like the only time that I used to have soda in this house is if I used to have like when I used to cater events, right? So because I like to I love to cook, right? And I love to invite family over for dinner. I mean, now that I'm at this stage in my life and I don't like people that much, I don't know if I'm gonna do it again. But when I used to do it, I used to tell people, bring what you drink because it's only water in this house, right? So then when after whether it's a barbecue or Easter or Christmas or Thanksgiving, when all was said and done, they would leave sodas and juices in the house. And the only reason I would keep them is if children came here. So there was a lot of sodas and stuff that got wasted because at some point it's like 3 years in the basement, open it is flat, and it basically just goes down the drain. Excuse me. So for the most part, I do my best. My unhealthy habit though is raw cashews. Those things are addicting. Oh God. And I went to Costco yesterday and bought this big bag thanks to mommy. I was perfectly fine with the little container that she bought for me at the store. She's like, no, this is cheaper because you get more in the bag. No, I don't want it. But I still got it anyway. But anyway, the reason why this is important for me to basically talk about is because as a quiet person, I usually don't voice my opinion or my concerns, right? And when we're going through things, we go through it quietly. We don't panic out loud. We panic quietly, internally, while still functioning. We think deeply, we process slowly, we hesitate because we're thinking everything through the fear, the cost, the what ifs, all in silence. It's not avoidance, it's processing. Quiet people hold a lot in their spirit before we speak. Sometimes we don't even tell anybody. Because even though mommy is here, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to worry her. And it's not fair because sometimes when other people are sick, we get annoyed with them. I'm such a hypocrite. I get annoyed if people are sick and God forbid pass away. And but why didn't they say something? And that plays in my brain all the time. Like, but you get upset with people when they don't say something. So why don't you say something? Anyway, um I'm grateful that I had this experience, right? Because as it is right now, everything is basically like just topsy turvy in this wonderful, sick, weird world that we're living in. And it's going to be even worse, right? Because there's somebody right now that is one paycheck away from being homeless. There's somebody right now that is trying to figure out what am I going to eat, right? Because I think Saturday was the first time that I went to Costco in like 2 months. And I was annoyed that the price of eggs were back up. Now, granted, they're not as high as they were, but it's still up. Like and mommy was laughing at me the whole time. I act like I didn't see her because I'm like, why this lady laughing? Like, why this lady laughing at my pain? Because I love food, right? But then I had to consider what snacks are we gonna get, right? Because I like to get like what's it called? Quick Slim Pop. What are the popcorn is that has slim in the word? Slim, whatever. Um, and I because I really don't do a lot of snacks per se, right? I'm a trail mix junkie, but I'm trying to basically wean myself over that too. But it's crazy. Like it's really exactly. Insurance is another scam, and that's why I'm telling myself I'm not getting it next year, right? And again, everything will be decided when I go to work tomorrow because I could do my open enrollment tonight, but why must I do it on my time? That's company time I'm doing it on. I mean, why not? But yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that my primary care doctor was able to check the records to find my stuff, and so I can basically avoid paying that crazy bill. And I'm glad that I told her how I was feeling, because I told her, like, when I was leaving, I said, she said, well, at least now you don't have to take it. And I said, yes, and I saved myself a whole bunch of money. I think she understood, because the reality is God knows his daughter, right? So God stepped in and intervened, and I am very grateful, right? I mean, I accidentally double booked myself for the same day, primary care, and then I was able to basically get the GYN in. And one of the this is that's the first time that has ever happened, and I'm grateful that they were accommodating. But it wasn't. I feel as if, like, there are no mistakes in life. Everything that happens the way that it should, right? And it's all in how we choose to embrace it. It's all in how we choose to basically receive it. Like mommy, I love to laugh. Mommy laugh at everything. I can't. I can't, right? The thing is, she's retired and she's healthy and she's fine. Unfortunately, I still have to get on these trains, because during the pandemic, I didn't mind, right? Because I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't exposed to anyone and their bad behaviors and their bad germs and all these things. But now, unfortunately, I am. I have to get on a train. And I am in the office where if somebody way down there go, Hachu, I'm like, because it's one of those things. It's like, but we already went through that, right? And I always say, like, we just went through that whole exercise called COVID, and everybody failed because people are still sneezing in their hands, sneezing out there, and not really taking care of themselves. Hence the reason why we have to care for ourselves, right? But I don't know what the answer is to the person that's watching this and who's wondering, okay, so what is your advice? I have none. Like, you have to basically, like, just go with your gut, because the reality of it is ChatGPT is right. When it comes down to whether I should eat, whether I should be well or have a roof over my head, you best to go find somebody that will put you up for a few for a few months, because at least if you're well, you can basically continue, find another job, and get back on, like, on your foot. But if you are unhealthy and living in your home, then when you in your will, who you gonna put that home to? Who you gonna get a house to? Because the reality of it is, life is life, right? And we have to be the ones to take care of ourselves. Like the doctor, because when the doctor called me, and she was like, when I told her, and I told her how angry I was about, paying this. What is the? And she was like, well, it's the co-pay. I pay every month. I didn't say all of that, but that's what I wanted to say, But when she was getting off the phone, she was like, I understand. I'm calling because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to call and encourage you, because that's all they can do. All they can do is encourage you to go. They can't force you. They can't be like, well, if you don't go, I'm a what? You gonna tell my mama? Man, oh man. I love my life, right? And I love this journey that I'm on, where I am comfortable enough to basically come and sit and have conversations with people, right? I'm grateful for everyone. Homie, yes, Kay. That's what I'm telling you. I need some seriously. We have CMOS. Let me tell you something. Next year, next year, the only thing I'm not gonna do is go vegan, because I like my meat, but you never know. I mean, God may come and say, daughter, I'm gonna need you too. Right? Because listen, I mean, everything is expensive. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out if I like the taste of grass with a side of dirt, because everything's expensive. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But that's one of the things that I'm grateful for, is because this summer, when I go walking, there's a person that has Cirrhosis. So those who are in the chat, or anybody that's watching that is West Indian, know what Cirrhosis is. It's a very bitter tea. For some reason, I actually like this tea. I'm weird. When I'm walking, there's a person that has it growing so crazy every year that it goes over the fence, and the fence is on the sidewalk. So I'm always picking off a piece, and I would take it home. I'm like, where I go with that? And I'm like, the plant that can't plant. Ugh. Every time I try, it don't work. It does not work. My auntie had a seriously plant, but I guess it died because she wasn't maintaining her garden anymore. Um, but next year, well, this year leading into next, I am going to basically just do more, because the reality of it is I don't take medication either. And I love when they ask the questions, what medications are you on? Are you drinking? Are you smoking? I do none of those things. Right? I do none of those things. So I'm happy about that. Right. But These people, they need to get this whole insurance thing right. I mean, can we do like Europe and basically like just care for the people? Jesus, peace. I mean, aren't we better workers if we're all healthy so that we can go to work? It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful that things worked out for me. I will say that I did feel a wave of relief. And when I got home and I saw this, if I didn't get the paperwork from my doctor, I would have felt very differently when I came home and I saw this certified letter. I would have been very annoyed, and it would have been a reminder that I had something to attend to, right? Some folks are making real decisions between groceries, lights, medicine, medical care, their kids, feeding their kids. This is the world we're living in. And it brought me right back to the question that I started as a joke, but ended up being serious: home or health? A home gives you comfort, but health gives you life. And if I ever had to choose, God forbid, I would choose health. Because even though I don't like a whole lot of people love me. And I know that they wouldn't mind me having me sit with them for a little bit, because the way that I would do it, because I have a very large family, and the way that I would do it is, I would just basically house hop. I would stay with them a few days, because you know what they say: after a few days, fish smells. I'm not gonna give them the opportunity to basically, God, I'm gonna just basically hop around. By the time the year basically spin around, I'll start again. Love you too, Sterling. So Kay said the fruit from it is good too. Yeah, so I did pick the orange fruit, and I brought it home because I'm thinking, well, maybe I could just dry it and the seeds I could plant. Mine was like, no, that's not how it works. So I think what I'm going to do is bring up have someone bring up the seeds for me or something like that, because they do have the tea bags. The tea bags are good. I mean, like, they're not terrible, but I like to have basically the bush itself so I can boil the tea. Um, thank you, Sterling and Lisa. I'm a hold you to that. When I'm ready to start house hopping, I'm coming to Mississippi. But seriously though, if you lose your health, that home becomes a place where you suffer in silence, especially for quiet people, because we don't talk. I mean, I'm talking now, right? That counts. um, yeah, I mean, it's life, right? Quiet people don't ignore things. We just take the long, thoughtful road to courage. We drag our feet, procrastination, right? But courage always comes. Before I wrap up tonight, I want to speak directly to the woman listening, especially the quiet ones who carry everything alone, because that was me. Please take your health seriously. Be thoughtful, be proactive. Don't wait for the pain to force you to care, because by that time, it might be too late. Don't assume you're fine because you're functioning. Don't suffer in silence thinking you're being strong. Strength is checking on yourself. Strength is making the appointment. Strength is saying, let me make sure I'm okay. You do deserve that level of care. Your body deserves attention. You matter, right? Even I think sometimes we think, oh, no one cares anyway. But you should care, because you matter. You matter. And your future deserves protection. If tonight's message blessed you, and if it resonated with you, if it reminded you of something that you needed to hear, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this message with another woman who needs a reminder. Um, so Sterling is saying Lisa doesn't take care of herself. She's too busy taking care of everyone else. Sterling, that was me. My story is that I used to be that, oh, I'll do it. I was Mikey. I was doing everything for everybody except for me. I mean, thankfully, I've always had a healthy mindset after like after I got to a certain age. But I love being healthy. I love the fact that I can get up and go for a 9-mile walk if I want to. Um, because the reality of it is, I love life. I love to experience life. And, tomorrow anything can change. So, speaking of life and tomorrow, I noticed that there was a lady that's in the office. She's in finance, but she's not in my group. And today I was asking one of her colleagues, like, hey, what happened to her? I haven't seen her for a minute. I mean, it has been a while since I've seen her. And she's crossed my mind every so often, but I was thinking she's working from home. And I was like, that's not a policy. You're supposed to be in the office 3 days a week. And she's been going a whole bunch of weeks. And so he said, oh, she's on disability. And I was like, oh. So like, you didn't hear what happened? I was like, no. So he said she was out walking her dog one day and she was in a dog park. And I guess her dog was running after another dog. And I guess it must have pulled her. I'm guessing she fell and she broke her wrist. And when I tell you, so she was supposed to come back, I think about a month ago, but the swelling for whatever reason will not go down. And he showed me a photo of her wrist. It was, I kid you not, it was the size of my arm. It was the size of up here. And I was like, so, and I think he said that was taken last week. So as of right now, the doctor has her coming back on the 1st of December. And I thought to myself, just like that, your life can change, right? So for me, I'm doing everything that I can without, I'm not getting a lot of sleep, but that's not here nor there. Um, I drink a lot of water. But I'm doing the best that I can to maintain this shell that God provided me with, right? Because the reality of it is if I don't take care of it, no one else can or will, right? So remember that this is yours to protect, this is yours to maintain. And it's sad that, we have to get to a place where we have to consider whether we should eat or um, take a medical exam. But that's where we are. But really consider, what will you do? Before you leave, I'm going to ask you again to kindly get my book, Unlocking the Introvert, a pocket guide to understanding, a pocket guide to unlocking and understanding introverts. I think I said it wrong. I'm going to start again. Before you leave, kindly get my book, Unlocking the Introvert, a pocket guide to understanding and interacting with introverts. It's available at societyofintroverts.com, Amazon, and everywhere books are sold online. I thank you all for rocking out with me tonight. I think this might have been my longest live, but this one was really important. I am grateful to everyone who's in the chat today. I'm grateful for everyone who has subscribed to my channel, and I'm grateful for everyone who is following me on this wonderful journey called life. Um, I'm grateful. I am very grateful, and I thank you. Please stay blissful, and I will see you in the next one. Day 42, how many? Tomorrow's day 42. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Sterling. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you very much for rocking out with me in the chat. And Jeannie, thank you. And thank you, Mama. And anyone else who's on that isn't in the chat. Have a great night.